This could be your year. Make an old man proud of you. Forget about the tears on the level. See me eye to eye. Stand up like a man, even from the other side. On the level. On the level. Never had a choice. Never had a chance. Never had a voice.
No eraser, just creators. Crafting tales bit by bit. Who better than a mind with imagination lit? How about the frames per second? Animating my dreams, you know that's the fact. X, Y's, and Z's, the coordinates are stacked. Adding graphics cards, completing the circuits, and my RTX on, you know that it's worth it. At the end of the day, I've still got more to do, but rest assured I'll be spending my rendered time with you.
Doesn't it kind of feel like we're celebrating at the end of Ocean's 11 or something?
The heist is over, y'all.
The heist is over. It's time to eat tacos. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another Mograph Mocast. I'm Dave.
And I'm Matt, and today we are doing a NAB wrap-up show.
That's right. It's going to be a short show, like we always say. Make sure you follow us on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and all the things. We're going to be on Mograph TV this week. We're going to be replaying a lot of the NAB presentations. Make sure that you turn it on and rip the knob off, mograph.com/TV. You can also check us out on TikTok. We're live on TikTok right now. That's how we roll. Make sure you hit them likes and share and do all the things. Help us, get to the FYP someday. Someday.
It'll happen.
Someday. You can check
well,
out
everyone's FYP is different.
That's true.
We could be on FYP already.
Yeah, I think we'd see more than one viewer, but make sure you watch us there, follow us there for show clips and other gems. We had a bunch of clips and things like that for NAB. Same thing on our Instagram. You could watch reels. You can watch us goof around backstage, things like that. And as well as the video we just played here, stuff like that. Join the Mograph Slack and the Mograph Discord. Mograph Slack, you can chat with many, many, many other artists, thousands, I believe, at this point. And on the Discord, you can join us for hanging out on video. We do have all the other channels that Slack has, but mostly we just hang out on video on there, and we chill, and we talk about things.
I found some of the channels are starting to get a bit more lively, which is nice.
Good. That's good.
Also, come join us on the new mograph.com website.
That's right.
Come hang out, do an activity feed, post your demo reel, post projects you've worked on, go find a meetup group or go join a meetup group that's already there and see events that they've created. We've been plugging away, trying to fix up some bugs. There was a bug with some of the event stuff that we just squashed this week, which is exciting. Yep. So if you've had any issues with events or something, that should be all taken care of. And now you don't have to wait for us to publish your events.
Yeah,
which
how
is
about that?
exciting.
Yeah, and the times and everything are right. It's beautiful.
Times and everything are right, and then they won't stay up there after. We're working on that one right now. They
I
won't
was
stay up
wondering
after
about
it's
that
over.
because like
Yep,
this
yep.
is the first time some of the events have been over. I'm like, wait a minute, how
Yeah.
do you delete them after or
Yeah, I'm
archive?
we've got it set up to where basically they'll show up for about 12 hours after the event is over, and then they'll just go away.
Cool,
So
cool.
that'll be fun. Good
Yeah.
stuff.
I mean, they're not deleted, but they're not on the main page anymore.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's a lot of fun, and thanks everybody for helping us get the site where it needs to be, helping us beta test and whatnot. And one of the reasons that we can build this site and that we can do all the fun videos and bring you the show and bring you Mograph TV and all that is because of our sponsor, Otoy. And they are Mograph's universal sponsor. They're the makers of Octane Render and the Render Network. Great friend of ours, Jules. We missed Jules at NAB.
Yeah.
I was really bummed. He did this big talk there about Star Trek and stuff, and then I guess I didn't have his phone number, so I emailed him. I'm like, dude, are we gonna see you at any of these parties? And he's like, yeah, I'm coming to the Mograph booth right now. Well, I got that message after I had left, so he missed us by like 30 minutes, and then we missed him again. He showed up at the pinball party at like 10:30 after.
Oh, I didn't
Max
even
on.
make it to the pinball party.
Yeah, it was.
I left before then.
Yeah, I was super bummed.
Now you got me cropped weird again.
I got you cropped weird? Do I?
Yeah, look.
Oh, yeah, part of you's missing. That's weird. I didn't even notice that.
That's funny.
Sad we missed him, but we're going to see him in a couple of weeks at the Beeple event.
Yes. The Beeple
And,
event.
Yeah. So
We just they just released the speakers as well, correct?
they
just released
don't
this-
know, did they? I was
saw-
trying
yeah,
to make
so,
some cool photos of them in like 8-bit, 16-bit, and it didn't
Yeah.
look good. So I was like, yeah, we should probably post without any of that. So is that
Let's see,
official?
more info.
is that-
It is official. Let me go to the info because I've seen Barton posting it on his Instagram and stuff like that. Let's see. And more
I was
info
gonna
about
look
the
on
event,
Twitter,
maybe.
but I'm
Okay.
not even gonna
No,
bother.
that doesn't help. Oh well. Anyway, it's
We'll just tell you who they
from
are.
12 to 4 basically is the day event. There's going to be, there's going to be some competition in there, and then that's also when the industry talks are going to go. So we've got specific times. It needs to be up on the thing. We'll figure that out. But you can also do the gallery viewing and the artist showcase and stuff. But then around 4, everyone leaves. The shuttles are leaving. You can go grab dinner somewhere, and then back at 8 for the live competition and stuff. It's gonna be a lot of fun. I'm
And
really
there will be
excited
live
for it.
competition during the day as well. So some of
Yeah,
the
yeah.
runoffs of the bracketing will be
Yeah.
happening during the day when all that's going on. And we've been practicing. I'll talk about
Yeah.
that in a little bit. I've got some really funny practice rounds to show, And speaking of Otoy, also FMX 2024, I like to call it FML, FML 2024. There are some talks that Otoy is hosting this week. This is in Germany. Make sure that you follow them on Facebook so you can check this out. I've got a little screen right here, screeny screen. You can see. There are going to be a lot of speakers with them. You've got Thanu Lee. Oh man, everybody. I'm sorry. I'm
Dave's
sorry
really
for
bad at
these
names.
pronunciations right now. I'm just going to apologize before I even attempt to say. Okay, Gillies Augustin, Raphael Rao, I know that name. Cornelius Damrick, I know that name.
Yeah.
Andre Lebrov, I know that name. Oscar Ruiz, Dino, and Beppe, Ciao Beppe. On the, it always says that.
Ciao Beppe.
Ciao Beppe on the Otoy forums. So they will all be speaking. I believe that these are going to be like, some of these are actually going to be like about like more like talky talks rather than, some of them are Octane details. Some of them are going to be chats about just being an artist and some of that from what I reckon. And we may have some of these folks come on the show later on in the year as well. We might be doing some videos with them as well. You're going to see some Octane artist videos, as well as some TikToks and other things. So again, another reason to follow us on all the channels. We've got there's one that you did already that hasn't been released, right? With Green Kim and
Yes.
and
Yeah.
Woo-sung
So
Kang.
I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about it, but there was I will. I know it's always working on doing a revamp of their website, and part of that was some new content and more artist centric stuff. And we did a like a talk, me and David Ariev, with Green Kim and Woo-sung Kang and Taehoon Park, and it was awesome. It was really fun. I'm just still waiting for it to come out. So some of it's a little dated right now because they were talking about, we did it back in November, and they were talking about, we're about to release this thing, this class, and now it's already been released and out for like 3 months. But it's pretty cool. Yeah.
Oh, this is interesting. I was like, what is going on with my dingus? Apparently, the TikTok app steals the Control T from you. That's fun.
Oh, really?
So you, even if you're in like Chrome browser or something, you can't get to what you want to go to. I was trying to look this up, but never mind. By the way, the presentations that Gryoung and Woo-sung did at NAB were freaking incredible.
Yeah.
I want to take the course really bad. Like, I feel like I need to do that. Yeah, we'll be talking about some of that today as well. But man, that, like, the presentations, make sure you go back and watch them because they were just like spectacular. All of them.
Yeah.
All of them. They were so good.
Dave, I just put in the chat the actual schedule for the Beeple event. So
Okay, cool.
the speaker presentations start around 1:00.
There it is. Yeah.
You've got from 1:00 is Min Shi, which is exciting. Then 1:45 we've got Barton Damer, he's speaking, and then 2:30 Blake Catherine will be speaking, and then finally to head it all up 3:15 Jules Urbach. It's going to be a lot of fun. So the shuttle service starts at around 11:30, doors open at noon, live competitions an hour later, but we're going to be doing live competitions during the speaker presentations as well, so you can hop back and forth, and then doors close at 4, and then they open back up, shuttle start back at 7:30. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really excited for it.
Just making sure we can hear you on the chat,
Yeah.
because sometimes you can't.
Yeah.
The problems that we had last week or the last show were just so absolutely insane. I was like, what's going to break today? So hopefully everything's
just
working.
the cropping issue so far.
Yeah. Hey, so far so good, knock on wood, right?
Yeah.
Man, that was just everything that could have gone wrong in that episode went wrong. So I'm just like,
oh yeah, didn't I lose power?
PTSD. You lost power. Audio wasn't working. We lost
Forgot about that.
internet 1,000 times. I don't even know how I patched that thing together.
Yeah.
See, I'm listening to it right now. It's working. That's good. That's good.
That's good.
Okay. So, Min Shi, Barton Damer, Blake Catherine, Jules Urbach. It's going to be so great. Like
It is going to be cool.
It's going to be kind of, kind of TED Talkish in a way. I guess there's like a little area where you can go watch these presentations. It's going to be so good. So we got a lot to talk about. We got a lot to wrap up on, even though it's a short show. So let's go ahead and get into headlines. All right, let's do this. NAB 2024 wrap up, all the things.
Yeah.
Now, first of all, I guess the big news that has been hinted at quite a bit is that Cinema 4D Maxon, they released a particle system into Cinema 4D. We kind of saw the bananas on Twitter and were curious.
Yes, we did.
And so it's really cool. I have been playing with it. I think it's really great. So far, it's a really good start. It's very intuitive. It's very easy to play with if you already know everything about particles in X particles. You can easily
that's what I was gonna say. Like I'm big into X particles, but I maybe my mind doesn't work correctly nowadays, but like I had a really hard time wrapping my head around it. But that is also to say I haven't tried it since they released it. I was only
Right.
trying it on beta.
Right.
And so I guess maybe the documentation wasn't a whole 100% there. Or I had gone through it, but like, I don't know. I had a really hard time wrapping my head around it.
Well, I think that it's great. I think that there's obviously some things they're going to add to it later on, but like,
Yeah. like being able to intersect the own particles. That was the thing that bugged me more than anything.
What
I'm like,
was what?
how can you release a particle system and that they intersect with each other. You can't keep them from intersecting each other.
They intersect each other. That I'm not sure about. I haven't noticed that.
That was the main thing. I even asked them on the NAB floor. I was like, are they still intersecting? They're like, well, you can do a detractor thing. And it's just like, well, come on. In X particles, it's just a button.
Yeah, but the reason that I wouldn't want them to do that is like if you were doing Mograph cloners. But if you're doing Mograph cloners, they are going to interact with each other anyway because they have collider properties on them. Everything that I was doing was I love the just like the conditionals and like the field conditionals, which are really cool because it's like if you want particles, they're flowing, and after like 5 seconds you want them to the gravity to hit. You can do that. If you want them when they reach a certain area, you want these particles to like get sucked into something. You could make a field, and it's really great. Like I played with the whole thing this weekend, and also Ahmed already. I knew this was going to happen.
Yeah.
Ahmed already. Yep. He's got this working in Octane with the tag, the initial support for the particles. It doesn't have the motion blur integrated yet. So if you have motion blur on and you're trying all the things GUID and trying to do vertex blah blah blah, trying to mess with all those settings, it's not working yet. It's going to make them look all crazy, but I'm sure that's going to be fixed by
2023.1. Is
now
that what I'm using? I thought I was using like a 2024 version. Maybe I'm not.
Well, you might be on the alpha 2024, but that's just
I very well
right
may be.
now.
I'm on whichever one will allow me to render cross-platform.
That might be 24.
Yeah.
Yeah. So 2023. Here's the thing. There's 2023.1.3 R5. That is the version that I was using. And there is an R7, and the R7, if you go to Otoy's website right now, under their main downloads page where it shows Cinema 4D, if you go to that, it's just going to show the R5. It's just it's not listed. The R7 is not listed yet. I think they just need to update the link. But if you go to the forums and you go to Cinema, this is the R7. I'm sorry, I've got the cruds from NAB. Not COVID, thankfully.
Not COVID. I haven't heard anyone getting it this year. That's good.
So far,
That's good.
so far, yeah.
Yeah, so far.
I definitely had something else, but
it's the dry air. Like I slept like crap that entire time, and I was only there for 3 days. I can't imagine being there for 11.
No, it was way more than that. I was full blown awful sick this weekend, but
yeah,
that's to be expected. But so this R7 version, if you go to the forums, it is on there, okay, and you can try out the tag and get the particles working with Octane, which is a lot of fun. And you can experiment with that. Also, Rocket Lasso, holy crap, Chris did this freaking 4-hour-long 2024.4 Cinema 4D video, and most of it is on particles. There's some other things in there, but I watched it on 1.75x speed this weekend.
I don't know how you can do that with Chris Schmidt. That's impressive.
Well, the
That's
reason
very
is
impressive.
Yeah, but I mean, you've got to like some of this is stuff right? Like if the basics, it's like, oh, here's how you do an emitter, and here's how you do like your rate, and you can do a shot of particles and all that. And some of this is because this is for people who haven't necessarily ever used particles, right? If you've never used X particles, you need to know all of that.
So for sure.
So some of it was like I was just kind of perusing as he goes, and then I would pause when it would get to something that I wanted to try, and then I'd try it out and I'd save it, just kind of figure it out. But I did manage to get through the whole thing.
Wow.
The only thing that I didn't spend a lot of time on was flocking.
Yeah.
Which,
Yeah. Me and Chris were talking to NAB, and I was like, dude, how did you do a 4 hour? He's like, it's the biggest. He said it's the biggest release that Maxon has had for Cinema 4D since Fields. It's like,
oh yeah,
I guess
can
so.
imagine. Yeah, there's a lot to cover in it, and the flocking is the only thing I didn't do, which I thought that was a Fortnite dance at first, but
oh my gosh.
But it's not. Oh yeah, there you go. So that was a lot of
You
fun.
got to ding it, otherwise we'll think you're being serious.
I did ding it. So a lot of stuff happened at NAB. We did a lot of parties. I managed to somehow get to them all and get some decent sleep. I didn't drink much this time.
I will tell you what, I had so much fun at NAB because I was not working it. Like, I think I love NAB, and after like being there for probably 15 years in a row or something, it's like not having to work it this year was so much fun because like I'd go to the showroom floor in the morning, or in the afternoon, and I'd walk around for a couple hours. I'd see some stuff, it's like, I don't know. Online is such a huge presence nowadays that if there's like something that comes out, you're going to know about it. You don't necessarily need to go.
It's more about the networking,
100%. And so like what was great about this is like, and this has happened in years past where I would like a few years ago, I think our first year back, I was so depressed because I'm like, I'm like 39 years old. I'm like, I'm too old for this. I can't hang out and party, but it's because we were working the booth and getting up at 8 a.m. and I couldn't stay out till. So this NAB, I'd go for a couple hours. I'd go back to my hotel room. I'd take a 3-hour nap and I'd be raging until 4:30 with EJ and all of them. It was so much fun.
Of course, you're not drinking either. I'm
not drinking either. No.
Yeah. I tried to stay out, and I was like, I wanted to drink. I wanted to go out, and I wanted to drink, and I just couldn't. I was like, I have to get sleep, and you weren't there, so it was like Dryden's first year working on it. And we used to do a trade out thing. It's like, okay, I'll come in early tomorrow, you come in early the next day. So there's none of that right now. Maybe next year.
But my biggest problem is it's so funny. Like we were out till 4:30 a.m. playing ponies. The ponies at the MGM.
The horsey boys.
The horsey boys. The horsey boys.
Right there. Raid Zero puts it in the chat.
I kept calling them the pony boys, and they didn't like it when I called them pony boys.
I'm a pony.
But I stayed out with them until like 4:30, and like I walked back to my hotel, feeling good, and like I'd wake up at 8:30 and felt great. It's like, man, I don't know.
Yeah, I couldn't afford a hangover. I even wanted to drink on Wednesday night after we were done. But then I was starting to get the crud, which Matthew calls it NAB flu. We call it the Maxon crud. That's what we called it before COVID. Before COVID, the Maxon crud. It always happens. We're just all kind of in a booth together for so long, But I'm glad I didn't get it while I was there because that would have sucked too.
Yeah.
If I felt like I did this weekend during the show, that would have sucked. Like pretty bad. What?
I'm just thinking about so never mind. I won't tell the story. It's kind of vulgar, but I'll tell you later.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the horsey boys. There's lots of gambling going on. We had the Mograph.
Big shout out to Nick Campbell for bringing me back from like only $10.
Right.
Right. I gambled off of $60 for a really long time. And of course I lost money for everyone the second I rolled the dice. Nick Campbell comes up there, wins us all money back. It was awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That guy's great.
The Mograph meetup was great. There are so many people. I always have to Irish goodbye from the Mograph meetup because it's impossible to say goodbye. You see everybody. That's the problem. That's the only problem with the Mograph meetup is it's like a wedding. I mean,
Yep.
I saw Andrew Kramer was even there, and like literally, I'm like working my way through the crowds, sideways because I can barely get through them like this, and then Kramer's coming the other way. He's like, "What's up, dude?" And like passed me on the shoulder, and I'm like, "Hi, bye, see you later."
That's funny.
Just trying to get through. There were so many people there, and you're like, "Oh, so and so's there. Okay, I'm gonna go see him." So you try to go to the other side of the venue, and you stop and talk to 5 people on the way, and by the time you get to the other side, that person's gone. And so it really is like a wedding, and that's what happens is you have to Irish goodbye. You sent me a text. You're like, "Are you still here?" I'm like, No, we're gone. I couldn't people that much anymore. It's too many people. You can't get in the good conversations,
Honestly, I needed this. I needed this year because like I've been so down about events because of how tired I am, and I don't like going out and hanging out and whatever, but like knowing that it's because I'm working the event and I'm not in my 20s anymore that like I can't hang till 4:30, but this time it's like, no, I'm still alive. Schmoozy Matt is still there. I needed that. I needed that in my life.
Yeah, I used to be able to do it, and I just can't.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm adjusting my brightness as we speak. I used to be able to do it because I told people, I tell people the first time they come to NAB that a day at NAB is like 2 days. You know, you're there all day, and even if you're not working, you're there all day. You get a nap in if you're lucky, and then you go do a whole nother series of events starting at 7. You have dinner and you go do the horsey things, and then all of a sudden it's like 3 o'clock in the morning, and you got to be up at 7. So it just gets harder and harder to do the older I get. It sucks being old. Then we did the karaoke event the next night. That was a lot
of fun.
That was a lot of fun. It's a little more laid back because instead of like 600 people or whatever, there's only 100 people, but still.
I felt like there was more than 100 people. There was a lot of people there.
I mean, the capacity is 110.
Yeah.
And people were coming in and out. I'm sure there were more than that because we sold out tickets, but we said just show up anyway because you know how that is, right? It was different than last year. It was like the same amount of people, but I feel like people divided up a little more in those breakout rooms than they usually do. So that was a lot of fun. Of course, Paul was there. It was great to hang out with Paul.
Yeah.
Did meet a lot of people from Rive as well.
Yeah.
Which is
Rive
cool.
had a big presence, especially at the Mograph meetup. They were the big sponsor and stuff like that. Yeah. And like, it's so funny. I found myself, I was in conversations with people, and then I'd find myself like looking up at the TV because I'd see these Rive animations and stuff that they were doing, and it actually piqued my interest. I'm interested to take a look at it.
I have been playing with it. I have been playing with it quite a bit, and most likely we will have the founders on the show sometime this year. We were chatting about that as well, so that'll be cool. And we can get more into that. Cool. Yeah, I've been playing with it just to see what we could do with it. It's like I want to know, like any other piece of software, like I always say, I like to play with it a little bit just to be like, okay, in the same way that tutorials work. You don't watch the whole tutorial, but you just kind of keep it right here in your brain, just like, okay, if I need that, it's right here. And so karaoke was a bunch of fun. Pinball was fun. Pinball, we've done pinball so many times. It's like you know exactly where to go and what you want to play and all the things. And what's funny is a lot of us were so exhausted, we ended up sitting on the curb just eating our food and like barely even played games because we were so exhausted. And that's where that clip from that video is when we're sitting
that was
there.
really funny.
But that was fun. They put Creepy Baby Baseball and the Ducks next to each other.
Such
like
a good
in a
idea.
prime area. So we introduced everybody to that. Everybody had to play Creepy Baby Baseball. We were like, okay, who's a Creepy Baby Baseball virgin? So people were coming up and trying it. So
did you play the best game in the world there? The clown game where you just press the buttons
with
and
the
like
George
the clown
Jetson,
dances?
The George Jetson,
with the Jetsons
theme song.
Yeah.
I saw it. I didn't play it this year. I usually play it. I usually introduce people to that as well.
Yeah. You got to tell them it's the best game in the world. And then as soon as you
Yeah.
start playing, they're like, "What else?" And I'm like, "No, this is it."
Yeah. But the cool thing they had at the Maxon booth too is this 3D printer. It was
Yeah.
X1 Carbon by Bamboo, and TikTok has been telling me that I need a Bamboo printer for a long time.
course.
It's been trying to get me to buy the A1 Mini, but you know me,
Yeah.
I'm not going to buy the lowest tier.
No, you're not.
F that noise. No, I have had a fairly decent enclosure printer, 3D printer, since the very beginning of 3D printers. It was like 12, 13, 14 years ago, I think, at this point. It was a long time ago. And it was rather expensive. And the big thing to me is that it was always a hassle for me to get it out and get the bed leveled and like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
It's like, and it sticks, and I got to get like a different sticky 3M pad to put on the thing so I can fix it. And then, you know, you would try and scrape stuff off of it because it was sticking too much, and then you would end up jabbing the plate, the cover on the plate, the heat pad, and like it was just a lot of trouble. And it was a lot of trouble to set up, and it was a lot of trouble to get the prints using third-party software and all that. So they had Carbon X1 sitting there, and I had been eyeing it, and I pulled the trigger because it seems like that happens every year. I see something cool at NAB, and then I buy it so that when I get home, it's waiting at my doorstep. And just like clockwork, it was there, and I've got tons of filaments and different things for it. X1 Carbon.
And you got the
my
multi-colors, right? So you
goodness.
can print multiple colors at the same time.
Yes, the AMS
That's
system.
awesome.
It's got like you can put a reel in the back of it, and you know, as a printer just normally, and then you have the AMS system on top, which switches everything for you. You know,
That's super
So you
cool.
can do multicolor. It takes a long time because it's got to like retract and put the other ones back in.
Right.
So if you're gonna do that,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
really have to plan.
Get rid of the poop.
Yeah,
What
it
they
gets
call
rid
it.
of the poop. It has
Yep.
a thing in the back called the poop chute, and it's like a container where it wipes the nozzle clean and it drops the extra
Yeah.
pieces in for you.
Yep.
And dude, this thing is the Macintosh of printers, of 3D printers.
All right.
Like this thing is slick. It's metal. It's literally right here. I'm not going to move the camera, but it's literally.
Is it
sitting
printing right
here.
now?
No, but it
Okay.
is so quiet because it is enclosed, that's what I
Yeah.
like. And it has different settings on it, kind of like a Tesla. Like you can put it in sport and ludicrous mode,
Nice.
which just means it goes a little faster and it's a little louder. So if you're okay with that,
Yeah, but it's like you know, with my Ender 3, I could never control the speed for it. It was always just one speed, you know. And if you're doing something like super detailed or whatever, or you're doing something where you're gonna do a bunch of finishing work to it, like sand it and bondo it and, you know, prime
Right.
it and stuff like that. It doesn't matter necessarily if it like runs pretty fast and the lines are slightly off, because you're gonna go
yeah.
through and sand that anyway.
But see,
you
here's the
know?
thing about this. I ran one with a fine tip last night
Yeah.
and let it go a little longer. Man, you can barely even see the lines on some of this stuff.
Yeah.
It's so
funny,
good.
like from the 3D prints that you would give me, you know, from your original 3D printer to just my Ender 3, I was like, there's such a huge difference, you know, and I can only imagine the difference from the Ender 3 to the Bamboo.
Yeah, it's so good. I did the little boat that comes with it, and
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
got
yeah.
the app for your phone, and you can monitor it anywhere. It's not just your
Yeah.
home network. You can check in on it. And what I didn't even realize is that it has a camera in it.
That's so cool.
Yeah. And,
How much was it?
Well, I got a bunch of like extra filament and stuff. Let me see. I'll give you the actual price on it. But I got
The actual retail price?
Yeah, I got tons of
$1.
filament. I actually bought more filament yesterday because I'm trying some translucent plastics. They've got some flexible plastics, and they have
Yeah,
like
I've
the
seen the
bouncy
flexible
plastic,
plastics.
You know, where you can make the basketball everybody's talking about. you know?
Yeah.
And
Make
then
a shoe.
Yeah, make a shoe, make a flip flop. Let's see. The X1 is $1,200.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's just a little
A
bit
little
more than
outside
I
my
paid.
price range.
It is pricey. It is pricey,
especially considering you can get an Ender 3 for like $150.
Yeah, but huge difference. I mean, this thing has
Oh,
LiDAR.
yeah.
This thing has LiDAR, and it lines up.
Yeah,
everything.
and it's the bed auto levels, which is so like.
Yes.
Honestly, if I was going to get another 3D printer ever, it would have to auto level, because that is my
worth it.
least favorite thing about 3D printing, is having to go through and like make sure it's all lined up and it barely touches.
Oh, it's
and,
worth it.
Ugh.
It's so worth it. And it has a screen on the front.
Mm-hmm.
You put an SD card in, and not only can you remotely monitor, but every single print that it does an automatic time lapse of and puts on this card.
Oh, that's super cool.
Yeah. So everything is a time lapse, and it has AI built in as well. So it uses the LiDAR and stuff and the cameras, and it also analyzes what is going on. So it will do like a first layer, and it will analyze the first layer. And if it thinks that it's not right, it'll pause and be like, "Hey, is this cool? Are we good?
Yeah,
Are
that's
we good?"
neat.
And you'd be like,
That's
"Yeah,
super
that's
cool.
good." But the thing that I love is this right here. This is
The build
this
plate.
is the build plate. And
Yeah.
before, you wouldn't be able to take this off, or you'd have to have the special layers of 3M crap.
Yeah. The
And
Ender 3 does that.
It comes right off. And what's great is, like, if it's not coming off, you just give it a little twisty twist. You can hear it.
Yeah.
And
I love
magnetic.
It's funny because you've been out of like the 3D printing game for a while. You're one of the first adopters, but you've been out of it for a while.
Yeah,
like
I
there's
mean, I
been
just got
so much since your first one.
Yeah. I mean, look
Yeah.
at this, because it does these little test things. I don't know if you can
Yeah,
see
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Look how easy
Yep.
that just came off. No
Yeah, yeah.
problem. This is the textured plate. And
Yeah.
and I love the textured plate. I think this is the default one that comes with it. I don't think I ordered
Yeah,
it separate.
The Ender 3 comes with like one similar to where it's magnetic, but eventually I got to the point where it just wasn't doing a great job sticking, and I needed something that would come off easier and still do a good job. So I bought a glass plate, and it
Yeah.
works really well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The glass plate, I don't know. There's some things that, like, the AI has a hard time with. You know, like, it can't necessarily see things.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And I don't remember like the LiDAR, I think, I might have this wrong. Like, the LiDAR has problems with glass, but the AI has problems with texture because it thinks it's part of the, I don't know. So far, so
Interesting.
good. I absolutely love it. I love all the software. I love the slicer. You know, I had Simplify 3D or Simply 3D.
Yeah.
Or
What are you
whatever
using
it was
now?
before. Well, now it's got its own software. That's what's so
Really?
great. Everything is
interesting.
like its own system, so you really don't have to worry about it. And if you send something from your phone or from your computer, it shows up. You can see the model on the screen.
That's cool.
You know, like everything. That's what's so great about it. And if
I've been using Cura 3D for all of it, for all of my stuff.
I love the fact that let's say that, you know, you're printing out like 10, 20 of something, right? Little parts or something, and you're really getting something going. The crappy part that happens is, like, one of them will spaghetti out, but the rest are fine, right?
Yeah.
So you can literally go into the screen and say, and pick and say, stop printing that one.
That's awesome.
And it will just,
That's way
okay,
cool.
that one's broken. We won't do that anymore. And that's really
Yeah.
cool. Yeah.
That
love
is awesome.
Love that. That is all I have on that one particular segment. We do have more stuff about NAB to talk about here in a little bit, but let's talk about Camp Mograph.
Yeah, Camp Mograph. We made the headline Camp Mograph sold out before it was officially sold out.
We
had
knew it
one
would.
ticket left, but now we are officially sold out.
Mm-hmm.
So I was really, really happy about this one. You know, this camp has a lot more room, so we were able to add a few more tickets, and we added some. You know, we didn't have any private cabins this year. It's all just community cabins, and it's tent camping. And so I felt like what I was really happy about was that it didn't sell out immediately. Like, it took about a day and a half before it sold out. And so I felt
was
like
close.
that gave everyone a chance who have been there and who wanted to go a chance to grab a ticket. And then, like, you get a few people who just like slowly roll in and stuff. And it was great. It felt so good to have that sell out and stuff like that. And like I love the way that was done. So super excited. Camp Mograph, September 12th through 16th. Thank you to everyone who bought tickets. I can't thank you enough. We are
also
super excited to do it.
A couple extra tickets too, which is the reason that it didn't sell out as fast as it usually does. But I mean, still, it was just about sold out. There were only two or three yesterday.
Well, after
after
the first hour, there was probably about maybe 20 tickets left.
Including the
so
tent
like
tickets.
they just slow rolled in.
Yeah.
It was like 10 tickets and like a few community cabin tickets, but it was great. It was great.
Yeah.
That's honestly like, I always feel bad about the mad rush, to grab tickets, because
Right.
then I feel like people miss out and like,
Yeah.
they plan other things or something, even though, we may be able to fit them in a little bit later with someone who cancels or something, but then it becomes it becomes hard,
Yeah.
but it just felt so nice. This is the perfect way to do it, I think.
When your friend doesn't get a ticket or something, and you're like, and we have a lot of it's always the tent tickets, because people are on the fence.
Yeah.
And then
For me, I love the tent tickets. Like, I tent every year. I think the tenting is so much fun. I love camping. I love sleeping in a tent. I love sleeping outside. It's nice and cold. I sleep really well in cold, and it's private. You still have to do the shared bathrooms and everything, but that's no big deal.
Mm-hmm.
You just grab Casey Hupke and you grab Dryson, and all three of you take a shower together, and you just have a conversation. It's very fun.
In separate stalls, though, right?
In separate stalls, of course, yes.
Okay.
But still.
Just checking.
Have you ever had a conversation with someone else or two other people while you're taking a shower? It is surprisingly fun.
I guess in high school.
Yeah, I don't
Gym?
know. I never did any sports in high school. So,
yeah.
Anyway, but Camp Mograph US sold out. Super excited about it. Big shout out to all of our sponsors. Of course, our global sponsor, Otoy. Thank you so much for putting on this event, and helping us do it, as well as our other sponsors. We've got Maxon and Sony, Grayscale Gorilla, Stash Magazine, and we're super excited to add Motion Hatch. Haley Akins is also teaching at camp, and as well as they're sponsoring, which is just so fantastic. We're excited to have everyone on board. Now, on that note of Camp Mograph, we still have we have some Camp Mograph Australia tickets left. We would love to get some more people out. Like, I feel like people just need to experience it to like know how awesome it is.
It's a new market.
With this being our first year in Australia, it's a lot harder to get people to come than it was, our second year in the U.S. It's very similar to our first year in the U.S. So if you're looking to go, there are only 7 days left to pick up your tickets, because we've got to close off ticket sales on May 1st because we've got to book flights, and we've got to get swag, and we've got all this stuff, and we need to know our final numbers by then. So if you are on the fence about Camp Mograph Australia, please, 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 you've only got a few days left to pick up your ticket. Do it now. Convince your company to buy you a ticket, because it is literally one of the most fun networking events you will ever go to.
Oh, and by the way, those of you who are waiting to the last minute, because I know people in Australia wait to the last minute to get tickets to things, this is the last minute.
This is the last minute. Yeah. Absolutely, 100%. This is the last minute. And on that note, thanks to all our Camp Mograph Australia sponsors, super excited to have them on board. Of course, Otoy and Maxon and Stash, we're excited to have them on board. Also, we added Hello Lux and Plugin Everything. Super excited to have them on board. And I would like to give a little shout out to Hello Lux. Go on his Twitter. If you're planning on buying a ticket, there is a discount code. So that is one of the parts of their sponsorships. They are covering that additional cost.
Yep.
For your ticket. So go to their Twitter or hit up Tim and be like, hey, what's the discount code? So he'll give it to you, and they're covering all the additional cost for that discount. So big shout out to them for helping out and everything. We're excited to have everyone on board, and we're excited to do these two events. It's going to be great.
Yeah.
So, yep.
I thought this was going to be a short
What else we
show.
got?
This happens all the time. I said I thought this was going to be a short show.
Well, it's going to have to be. I got meetings.
Oh, what time is it? Oh, dang.
Yeah, I know,
we better
right?
hurry. All right, cool. Let's go to commercial real quick.
All right.
Hi, my name is Sashia Dumont. I'm a writer, actor, and filmmaker.
Hi, my name is Paul Robinson. I'm a director, DP, and filmmaker. We are the creators and hosts of the Go Gorilla Filmcast, an online source for all things indie film.
We are a husband and wife film team and co-owners of Send 3 Productions, and we started this podcast for filmmakers like ourselves who were producing on micro budgets with skeleton crews.
Go Gorilla is a weekly podcast that features various talents in TV, film, and web series productions.
We've interviewed filmmaker powerhouses like Kestrom Pantera,
Richard Raymond,
Alex Ferrari,
Cassandra Ebner,
and Ryan Connolly. Amazing actors like Hannah Ward,
Lou Taylor Pucci,
Chris Wataski,
and Eileen Gruba,
groundbreaking cinematographers like Jody Lee Lipes.
and Jessica Lee Gagné, and many more.
We also offer weekly reviews of our favorite films and shows, which vary from low-budget first-time filmmakers to A-listers and everyone in between. Go Gorilla is proud to announce that we have officially joined the Mograph Podcast Network.
So if you love filmmaking as much as we do,
Tune in every Sunday for a new episode of the Go Gorilla Filmcast, your source for all things indie film. Now available on the Mograph Podcast Network.
All right, so I worked with the Skeleton Crew once, by the way. You know that?
Yeah, Skeleton Crew?
Yeah.
Oh. What, is it a
Well,
joke?
they
Is
said
this a
they were
joke?
talking about working with Skeleton Crews, so I was just.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
I didn't know if this was a joke or not. Like, I worked with the Skeleton Crew once. There were bones all over the place. Or something. I don't. Yeah.
There you go. The dad jokes. Okay, the deathmatch approaches. It's time to practice your
Yes.
10-minute renders. It's time.
Yep.
It's time. If you are participating, it is. There's not a lot of time left, and I hope you're ready because it's going to be quick. I don't know if everybody's really aware of what they're getting into. If they haven't practiced, the first time that you do it, and you sit down and you really try and come up with a concept or something, like it's rough. It's tough
Yeah.
to do. You've seen us try and do it. But yeah, we practiced this weekend, right? Like we were sitting around on Discord. It was when we did the camp tickets, and afterwards there were a bunch of us on. It's like, hey, let's practice 10-minute render randomly, you know. So we did a few. Let's see, I'm going to show you some of them here. So we did some that like were a prompt with like, here's some assets, and then we did a couple that were like no assets, just like just do it, right? Because
That's fun.
You never know. It's good practice, right? So we did the let's see, we did Psychedelic Railway. This is the first one we did, Psychedelic Railway.
Those look nice.
So this was one where I provided an asset to use, right? So everybody, like, I put it in, and I said, okay, go. And we did that. And that was fun. Of course, I've got to purchase these models in order to do this, so I wasn't going to do it that many times. So then we decided to do one without, which the prompt for that was swanky eggnog. So this is what we came up with for swanky eggnog.
Does someone have a cigar in his mouth?
That's
or is
mine.
That some...
That's mine.
What? Okay.
What did you think it was? And it's obviously
No
a
comment.
cigar.
Obviously.
It's got the wood grain texture from the table on the cigar. But it's, swanky eggnog. I had to make him a mustache. And the eggnog inside is like a grayscale gorilla texture of just like plastic. But, you know, you got to improvise, right? You got to know where these things are. You got to know, okay, what HDRs am I going for? You need a basic space and a daytime and an indoor and maybe a nighttime, right?
Okay.
And I think those, so you have to have those at the ready. You got to know what your go-to textures are, right? You got to know like all the settings you're going to do. If you're an Octane, you're going to, you know, you got glass. Like this is glass. Can't do them fake shadows. Put that path tracing on, brah.
Yeah. I'm curious if we should have some like, should we have some default templates that people can just open up? No,
I mean,
because someone's
everybody's
gonna
different,
save over it.
Yeah, no, everybody's different, and I feel like that I've been kind of figuring this out, right? And this was so much fun in the Discord this weekend. I'm like, I recorded it, and I'm like, we have to have a way to just do these on a regular basis. So after the death match, I feel like we should do this more. And like maybe it's one day a month. I think week is too much. One day a month, we all meet on Discord and we just go for it and we do this. And maybe we try some other. Maybe we do, we all will do like an hour prompt day and a 30-minute prompt day and a 10-minute prompt day or something, because I'm figuring out the way to do this. You get the prompt, right? And you got to like start thinking about it first. Okay? So it's in your head. You're going to have X amount of time to figure it out, and you got to figure, okay, I'm going to put this thing in the scene, and I'm just going to build around it, and I'm going to figure the rest of it out as I go. But you're going to need something in there. You're going to need lighting for it. You're going to need an HDR. You're going to need some textures. You're going to need maybe some camera stuff is good. Like put some vignetting on it and put some glow and things on it. You know what I mean? Like all these little things that you're going to probably do to any render. Just think about that. And my mentality has been spend 5 minutes building, and then at that 5-minute mark, you need to be wrapping it up. Because once you hit 30 seconds, and you don't have to render. If you're working in the IPR, you can just screenshot it, right? Let's see. Scott says, what texture material libraries do you have access to for the challenge? So
the GSG texture and everything. Yeah.
And there will be a library of objects and things that, now don't quote me on this, but I talked to Rev the other day, and there's a possibility we're going to send a link to that library out so people can see what's available first.
No,
don't quote me on that, but I heard a rumor that that's what's happening. We got to have some phone calls this week to make sure we're on the same page.
Right.
But there will also
you'll also
not
have the
in
Maxon library to where you can just download something, right?
Right.
But it could take a bit to download.
Well, we'll try and have everything kind of preloaded. But the main thing, though, is that you won't have access to any of the content having to do with the prompts. So, for example, this is the example I've been using. If you have a prompt involving an airplane, we will make sure that there's airplane stuff.
Of course.
Right?
Yeah.
So we don't have the prompts finalized yet. And even if we do, like, we don't want to give it away. So those particular assets, nobody's going to see until the day. Because we don't want to give anything away. Also, the third one we did, Cons stayed around and we did one more. It was called Utopian Visitor.
Okay.
And mine looks like freaking Beeple taking off on...
Yeah.
Like he's got his khakis on, right?
That's funny.
Utopian Visitor in 10 minutes. I got my GSG Space HDR. I've got a person doing this, and he was already posed. That's from the Maxon library.
Nice.
So, no, it's not using...
Yeah, Cons came up with an interesting way of doing like a quick, colorful HDR where he just does a half dome and then scatters lights all around it and then randomly affects their color and stuff. And it's kind of neat. He was showing me that this morning.
And Scott says it's not using your own workstation. It will be...
No.
We
will have some sweet Puget systems.
Puget laptops. The new Puget laptops, which are amazing. You can load those things up to 24 terabytes of hard drive space. I can imagine if you are doing a documentary or something and you had a laptop like that and you're traveling around, you could keep all your footage on it.
Yeah,
that would be
can
so
you
awesome.
Imagine like if that thing fails?
Well, you'd have to have backups, of course. You have backups of your footage, but one of the things I hate about doing giant projects, when you have to travel and stuff, is that it's hard to access this. I gotta plug my drive in, and I don't know. I love that idea that you could have DaVinci Resolve and all your files and everything just on the laptop, and these things are sweet. Freaking 4090s, they're gonna be great, and they're already set up. I saw a video of it. Winkleman sent us that video, and it's got all the laptops laid out on the table. The table is LCD or they're
LED,
LED. So there's going to be graphics on it and all that kind of stuff, So, and next week will be the last show before that competition. So Vernon and Cons are going to come on and do a 10-minute showdown. Yeah, I wanted to try and give Vernon another chance because that was such a terrible episode, the way everything was falling apart.
What we should do is on the headlines one. The headlines. So, or not the headlines, that should be the survey. The survey, who do you think won? And so that everyone can vote. And then, we'll come up with a winner there.
We'll do that.
Yeah.
And that following Monday is actually, we're flying home on Monday. I don't know about you, but
it's going to be, we get home at like 8:30 a.m., but I would rather not
Monday?
do a show 4 hours later.
No. So I don't know if we're going to do a show after that or if we're just going to skip a show or not. We do have some people that were lining up for interviews and things. We were just trying to get. I've said this before. I think at the beginning of the year, every year, it's like I can't do anything until NAB is over. It's the ADD, ADHD, whatever. It's like the same as like when you have a meeting and you're like, I can't do anything today until my meeting happens, and then I'm done with it. Yeah. It's the same kind of thing. It's like once NAB is over, I can start my year. It takes me a whole quarter to get going.
Yeah.
But speaking of which, we don't have a lot of time left here, so we should probably
maybe we'll save some of this other stuff until next week.
We only have one more headline.
Yeah, but mine's kind of a big one.
That's all right. Let's do it.
All right, let's do it.
We got time.
Anyway, so while we were at NAB, I got to sit down with the Adobe guys and the After Effects guys, and I was really excited about a lot of the updates that they're doing. They're trying to do a lot of focus on some of the product design and stuff like that. And so After Effects is incorporated into this new 3D renderer, which is very cool. And so you can create, environment lights, and you can bring stuff in directly. You can export your GLB files. So GLB is what the 3D stuff is taking. You can export them directly from Substance after you go through Substance Designer and texture them and stuff, which is really cool. I'm really excited about it. The biggest thing though is that I was watching a thing, and it's like, oh yeah, you can go into draft 3D mode, and I was like, oh man, this is just like any other 3D DCC where it's not showing the final render. And I think that to me was a really powerful addition to it, because it allows you to work quickly. So I was really excited about that. Also, other things like copy and pasting between layers and reverse pasting, which I think is really cool. That's really exciting, and that was one of my things that I've been pushing for a long time.
What in the world is reverse pasting?
So you can now copy and paste between multiple layers, and then you can also paste in reverse. So say you do an animation and you want the exact same animation just out, you can paste in reverse.
Do you just hold shift or control to do it?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's so cool. I'm really, really excited about it.
Yeah,
it's such a workflow. It's a workflow thing that is gonna take that has been wanted for a long time. But it's funny, they were telling, I was talking to them, and they're like, yeah, it's crazy working with some of this older code and stuff like that. It's like figuring out how to copy and paste across multiple layers. It took them took a guy a year to figure out how to do, But copying and pasting in reverse, because he already knew all the code and everything, it's like, oh, that only took a week or so,
And, what was I going to add to that? It's gone from my mind. It's gone now.
That's all right.
I know what I was. It wasn't about that in particular, but it was about Cinema 4D and Substance. That there's a lot more Substance controls in Cinema 4D now, by the way.
Yeah.
Some
so
of that.
what I love about Substance, and it's similar to the way the Houdini engine worked between Houdini and Cinema. This is also very similar to the way that Unreal Engine does its textured, where it's like an instance of it, So basically, you're in Unreal, you're creating this master texture, and you're promoting things to actual things that you can adjust later on,
right.
And so like you can have like a little slider that'll adjust the color. So if you make instances of it, you can adjust the color and it doesn't affect the master ones. The colors, children. And so this is similar in the way Substance works, to where now you can set, parameters or whatever to be, adjusted in an external DCC and stuff like that. It's very, very cool. Yeah. What would be interesting, I would love to see cinema incorporate something like this where you've got material instances, because I feel like this could it could decrease the amount of rendering time and rendering compute power that it would take in order, because you're just loading one texture.
Right.
And just changing some minor things, instead of, if you've got multiple versions of a texture, you have to make a copy of it every single time and it has to load it into memory. Now, I may not be correct in the way I think that textures work, but I feel like that would be more
It's metaphorical.
Effective. Yeah, exactly. So,
oh no, Rick. you put too many cloners in there? Oh no, you're gonna you don't have enough VRAM? They're instances, Morty. They mean nothing.
Anyway,
I sound like Sketch.
What's the other thing?
I sound more like
other
Sketch
new
than Morty.
Adobe updates. This past week they had the Adobe Summit, where they introduced a lot of the new things that they want to do, and one of them in particular was the new Adobe AI in Premiere, which is very interesting. So content credentials, like you can see on the screen, is a big thing that they're pushing, where if you have created something in Premiere that has like AI stuff in it, it's tagged in the metadata, and I think this is a really cool thing to do, but I'm very nervous on some of the stuff that they're doing. Anyway, so there's a bunch of new features that they showed off, like the generative extend, where it's like, okay, this thing is not long enough, this shot is not long enough, let's extend it a bit. So it uses AI in order to figure out how to extend it. This, like what you're seeing on screen, where you're able to replace a specific area and it moves with the motion and stuff like that, with something new, I think is really cool. That's pretty rad. I'd like to see how well it works. There's also like the being able to get rid of elements, like the fact that it's highlighting it, like it's like, why can't we get that in Roto?
Well, we don't need Roto anymore if this is the case.
Exactly.
And that's the thing that kind of scares me. A lot of people don't realize that besides 3D, I do a lot of touch-up work, and that definitely scares me, because I enjoy doing touch-up work. It's kind of a puzzle for me. So
yeah, I agree. So I don't know, some of that stuff is pretty cool. The biggest thing that I think is interesting is the ability to add third-party generative models in there. So it's like right now they're using Adobe Firefly, which I appreciate what Adobe is doing. I think Adobe, and I've said this from the very beginning, I think what Adobe is doing with AI is the correct way to do it.
It's the ethical way.
It's the most ethical way, because they are training their AI models based off of their own stock materials and stuff like that. Adobe is doing it right because they've already worked out the contracts with everyone who submits stuff to Adobe, or they already own the rights to it, versus they're now going to allow in these third-party generative models such as Sora or Pika or Runway ML.
And they say Sora. Sora's not even around yet. Like, how do they know?
I understand that. I mean, but that's just what they were touting. Like, it's not out yet, yes, but this is something that they're working on, and being able to allow third-party generative models. But like, you keep on hearing stuff in the news about how like Sora was trained off of YouTube videos, and it's like, okay, well that's kind of shady. Or like, Midjourney was trained off of other things, or other systems were trained off of Midjourney, and it's like, oh guys, it's so
convoluted.
It is the Wild West right now of AI, and I feel like there's going to be a giant shitstorm, and I don't know if Adobe going in that direction with being able to add third-party generative models is the correct way to go, but
at least you have the option to be ethical.
Yeah, that's true. At least you have the option to be ethical.
And
So-
that's kind of the thing. In fact, we do have a poll for this week. Mograph.com/weekly poll. You can check this out. How do you feel about new Adobe AI features? Love, hate, or not sure? And I'm not sure. That's me. That's the one in the middle right there. If you want to check out the poll right now, you can scan the QR code, or throughout the week, you can go to mograph.com/weekly poll and take the poll, and we will check in on the results next week when we do our next show. So
Yeah, totally.
let us
So
know.
yeah, that's about all I got. There was some new Substance stuff, I think, as well. And I just got a license of Substance, and I tried out Substance Sampler this week. Man, I freaking love it. It's really nice. It's really, really nice. It's like Photoshop, or like almost like it's a layered system where it's like, okay, I brought in an image, and then it used AI in order to figure out the bump map and the normal maps and like all this other stuff. It's cool. And then you do another layer that like basically, gets rid of the seams and stuff like that. It was okay. But while I was standing at the Adobe booth talking to the Substance guy, it's like, I was like, hey, let's make a pizza texture, like a pizza cheese texture. He's like, all right, let's do it. So we started doing it. And like within 5 minutes, we had a pizza cheese texture. That's really cool. That's really, really cool.
Yeah.
So
I have it because I had to add it back to my account so that we had it on the machines for Maxon.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to try it again. I got it initially because I had gotten a Cintiq. Like, I'm going to get into all this, and I just haven't been using it. And honestly, I think that, like, if I get into Substance, I don't know why. Like, I just felt like I needed to use the pen with it. I don't think I need to use the pen with Substance.
No.
I'm going to try getting back into it.
If I could see like Substance Painter and stuff maybe using the pen,
right?
But Substance Designer and like the sampler and stuff, I don't think you need to.
Well, that's what I was trying to do too. I wanted to like paint textures and really get into all that, and I'm like, you know what? I just don't have the time. Sorry.
Yeah,
I just don't. And but I would like to get more into the like. I love like how easy it is to use with Cinema now, and so I would like to kind of explore it at least. Dip my toe in it.
Yeah.
We're gonna have.
I gotta say, Adobe's coming up with this whole new 3D pipeline between Substance Modeler, and
does
then
it have
Substance
Octane though? That's the thing.
Painter, and then no. I'm curious. I'd love to see if they could incorporate like a 3D render engine inside of After Effects. Could you imagine? Like, I know they had talked about, or Otoy early on had After Effects like being able to bring in Orbix files into it. But could you imagine if they built an actual
AE at some point? Yeah.
Well, I think it was. I think it would allow you to bring in Orbix files.
Something. I don't remember.
Yeah, but this would be really cool if you could somehow do a third-party render engine with After Effects. If anybody's
going to do it, it's going to be Jules. I'm just telling you.
Yeah.
Wes McDermott, actually, I got to meet in person for the first time at NAB, and we had been talking on TikTok about, hey, I hope to see you at NAB, and I hadn't seen him the whole time, and it was the last day, and I was like leaving, or I was going in the bathroom, and he was coming out. I was like, hey, what's up? It's like, hey, my hands are wet.
That's funny.
The damp handshake when you leave the bathroom. So we chatted for a minute, and I think he is going to come be on the show at some point. We can talk a whole bunch about Substance. And I think that's what we'll do with a lot of this stuff is, like, there's just so many announcements at NAB, and we need time to play with this stuff and really, like, see what's going on and learn it and all of that. So, that'll be fun. We got a lot of cool stuff like that coming up this year, and we're bringing you more in 24. Don't forget, I got to bring that back. I was on that kick for a while, but more in 24. That's our motto. So we'll be doing a lot less traveling in general.
Oh, I'm so excited.
No traveling, but we'll be doing less traveling this year, and I think it's going to be a little bit easier.
I think I've only got 3 more events this year, which is good.
3 more, cool.
Yeah, maybe SIGGRAPH. I don't know.
Oh yeah, SIGGRAPH. Oh, you got to do SIGGRAPH. We're gonna do a party.
I know it's in Denver.
We're gonna do a party, and I've been talking.
We got to go to Casa Bonita.
Yes, Casa Bonita. I was talking to EJ about this. Might happen. We might do
All
it,
right.
but we have to book it in advance. It's very hard to do.
Yeah.
We got to do it like now. A giant Casa Bonita
Yeah.
Mograph party
meetup.
at SIGGRAPH.
All right.
Yeah, I think we
Okay.
should do that. We'll work on it. We'll let you know if it happens.
All right.
So
Cool.
that's about it. Thanks so much for listening. Make sure you check us out at mograph.com/TV. Check us out at youtube.com/mograph. TikTok, Instagram, all the things. Hit us up. We're everywhere. Talk to us. Send us emails. Let us know what you want to talk about, what you want us to talk about on the show. And join us on Slack and join us on Discord. And that's it, huh?
And the Mograph website.
And mograph.com.
Join the
of course.
Mograph website.
Most important part. Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Well, that about wraps it up. Till next time, I'm Dave.
And I'm Matt.
Have a good one.
Later, yo.
It's pretty good, I guess. Introducing Mograph TV from mograph.com, a free motion graphics and animation channel streaming your favorite content and favorite artists 24/7. Mograph TV features motion graphics tutorials, talks, tips, inspiration, and replays of popular live shows. We offer something for all levels of designer, from introductory tutorials to high-level breakdowns and everything in between.
That track looks great to me.
Mograph TV features software like Cinema 4D, After Effects, Unreal Engine,
What up?
third-party plugins, and other 2D and 3D software. We also feature live motion events, short-form clips, crypto art, and even a little photo and video editing. Learn from the people that inspire you most. And stay up to date on all the latest industry news, announcements, and community events. You'll also see exclusive offers only available by watching. With 3 8-hour blocks each day, you'll be sure to catch everything, no matter what your time zone. Keep it on as a companion to your workday and learn something new. Meet a friend, watch a demo, catch a classic tutorial, or even find new inspiration.
That's a British word?
A lot of things are British words.
Yes, good luck with all your projects.
Mograph TV, television for the design community 24/7.